I thought there's a lot to be liked. There's some in-play things I think we can be better at technique-wise, but those things are going to be repetition-driven. I'd like to score a few more points in the red zone. Had multiple opportunities. Had a blocked field goal like we talked about post-game. Another one tipped, but they ended up being offsides and went for it in the ensuing 4th and 1, didn't get it. Just ending drives with points and ideally 7 points. 20 to 20 is great, but getting in from the 20 is kind of where it's when the field's condensed, when things are happening faster, to be more efficient in those areas. I'd like to cover the first kick of the game a little bit better. I thought throughout the course of the game we got better at it, but doing the first one like the last one and the middle one is always important. So there's a lot to take away from that game. We battled. It was a adverse situation. Got up early, got down late, got back up even later, held on to the lead at home. So it flowed much like watching the game, but I think there's a few things that we can lean into a little bit. The number one drive this week is turnovers. We get on the plus side of things for 3 weeks. We haven't been on the plus side of things, and we've more than been in all 3 ball games for a long period of time, and so that tells you that we're on the cusp of being a pretty good team, being able to hold kind of our own without the plus and the turnover margin. But you start forcing 1 or 2 or 3 a game, the plus side of things, we could break out in 8 points. So we're not going to wait for them. We're going to go for them. They usually come in bunches, but week 4, we got to get plural turnovers on defense and force those and keep the ball on offense.
And here you go, beginning of Big Sky play. You got the 15th ranked team in the nation. They're a new team this year, a lot of new faces, but still kind of the same from last year. What are you kind of seeing from UC Davis?
Well, there's a lot of familiar faces too. There's Big Sky, all Big Sky guys on both sides of the ball that litter their roster. They've got experienced players. They've got high football IQ players. They're playing at home. They're playing at night. And enter any team in whoever we play the rest of the way, ranked or unranked, they're a Big Sky opponent, arguably the best conference in America. So it's going to be tough no matter whose name is versus Eastern Washington University, especially when you go on the road. But it is undoubtedly a new season, even though it's mid-season, because it's conference season. So we're through 3, and we knew those were not going to count for conference standings. And now here we are, first game of the Big Sky season, going on the road against a well-coached team. Coach Hawkins has done it for a long time at a good clip. Didn't play him last year, so it's going to be new for some of the guys. Last time we played him was fall of 21 and spring of 21, so we played him back-to-back years. And then missed them last year, so we haven't seen them for a while. Potentially a playoff team last year, they got left out, but they've been very steady, inclined for the last 4 or 5 years to the point where, like you said, they're 50 in the nation, and they're hosting us.
You mentioned kind of last year and not seeing them. They ran right through Idaho like a knife through butter. As you guys have kind of gotten through 3 weeks here, how do you feel like you guys are going to stand up against the run, especially with a team that likes to do it as much as they do?
Well, I think outside of the turnovers, collectively, I think that's going to be pivotal in this game for both teams, plus side of things. But when you really boil it down to, let's call it positional, it's going to be the hand-down players. We got to get pressure on the quarterback. We got to make them one-dimensional as much as we can. They're going to find their ways to get Larison the ball. I mean, they're going to get the ball to him in different ways. They'll put him at quarterback, in Wildcat, non-Wildcat, fly sweeps, handoff, screen game. That's the guy that makes them go. But if we can control the line of scrimmage consistently, not the entire game, but consistently, we got a better chance. It all starts on first down. Every game is kind of different and kind of what you're leaning into and what you can maybe take advantage of. But I think this week they'll play with your eyes a little bit with their motions and some of their quarterback run game, some of their screen game. And hopefully we can take a few pages out of Oregon State's book because they got after them pretty good in Corvallis. Albeit Oregon State's a great football team, but from start to finish for the first play game offensively for a touchdown 70-yard run to the last play of the game, they they did a lot of really good things against Davis, and then they bounced back after that defeat against Southern Utah at home last week in a tough game. Defensive battle, if you will, made plays when they needed to. So I think when you look at it, it's the D-line of theirs versus our O-line and tight ends of ours, and then our D-line of ours versus their O-line and tight ends of theirs. That's going to be, I think, when you look down into the scheme of things, what's really going to determine the outcome of this game.
I think you were in here when Jacob answered how he's seen the defense change over just the season thus far, and him saying, what the school's known for, and they kind of want to, I guess, get some credit and hard-earned the defense. Can you put into words kind of how you've seen some of the shift of the work that they've put in, and if that gives you any confidence moving forward?
Ton of confidence. Good, better, or different. Eastern for the last 20 years has been known as an offensive football team. And the defense has felt kind of left out at times. And I've always challenged them as an assistant or a head coach. Well, go find ways for you to build on what we have and work off the confidence that the offense has and build confidence on defense. I think continuity is big on both sides. We weren't a juggernaut last year on offense either. We were sub 400 yards per game, and that's not what we're used to. And kind of we found our footing on both sides through 3 games. So it's a smaller sample size than a season, but it is a sample size. I think they're playing with confidence. I think they're running 11 hats of the football. I think they're more than just comfortable. I think they're believing in Coach Kopp, the scheme that Coach Kopp and his assistants are putting in place. And we've had kind of 3 different type of teams we faced, and we played pretty good football through 3 games on that side of the ball. And so, outside of 10 and 18, there's been some years where we've been okay on defense, but for the most part, our best teams at Eastern have been years where we've been better defensively and trending that direction through 3 games, but we still have 8 to go, one at a time. So I think continuity plays. I think experience plays. I'd like to see those guys be a little bit more opportunistic. We've been playing really good defense without Marlon Jones was opportunistic last week, but not wait until the fourth quarter to get that done, doing the first, second, and third to turn the field position around and get a strip sack or a couple forced fumbles, but playing with a ton of confidence. And it shows. Watching them from waist down, it shows. And that's where I tell the guys all the time, confidence when you watch an athlete is waist down. How fast is their turnover? How twitchy are their movements? We're playing at a pretty high level right now.
I know you mentioned after the game on Saturday, just not knowing how this group of guys would respond after a win. Has that been a conversation? And if so, kind of how do you phrase that shift in mentality?
It's more of a challenge than anything, or kind of a wait and see, and so it's like a hurry up and wait at some point, because after the game, great, 24 hours, put it to bed. What's done is done. You're not going to win because you beat last week's team because of last week's preparation. This week's team is a different team. We're on the road. It's Big Sky. There's a lot of different variables to this. That's my curiosity, selfishly, to see how we come out today. We got a good one in yesterday, albeit it's more of a learning day on Mondays. But see how physical we are, coming off a physical game and a lot of reps on offense on Saturday, and kind of seeing how we take our preparation on the road. So it's yet to be seen, but we're certainly giddy that we won. We can't be too giddy and let a win let us lose, just like they always talk about not letting a team beat you twice or the last team beat you the next week. And so excited to see where we go, trying to find our first one on the road, and it's a little bit more important now that it's in conference.
Coach, when you look back at the tape from the fourth quarter, the run game really was able to open up. Do you attribute that to just the O-line, or what was kind of the change that you saw on film?
Well, I think throughout the course of a game, and it's a great question, because a lot of people, growing up, why do teams run through the middle and they get 2 yards? Why don't they run something else? That's a natural tendency, right? Find the open space. Well, maybe we're trying to create open space as the game wears on. If you've ever done it, playing 90 plays in a game on either side is really tough. And I think we're in good game condition. I think that helps. I think we're at our home stadium. I think the weather was warm. I think we dictate a tempo. And I think once you kind of lean at some point, something's got to give. And if you lean hard enough, it's going to give sooner than maybe they want to. obviously, when you open up the passing game, that opens up some lanes in the running game. Running backs run hard. Tight ends are blocking hard. Offensive line is playing on the other side of the line of scrimmage. They're going to make plays. There's going to be TFLs. There's going to be third and shorts that don't go our way. But I think if you lean hard enough, it's bound to break. And I think we did that as we got into, probably the 70th play and beyond a little bit. And some of those aren't going to be 40-yard runs. Some of those are, like we talked about on Saturday, some of those are going to be, 4 10-yard runs that still equal 40 yards. Everybody wants the explosive play, but at the end of the day, it's all about scores at the end of possessions. And so I think sometimes it can almost be scarier not going 70 yards and scoring, going 70 yards in 15 plays and scoring, because now a lot of things worked in your favor. So if we can have a little bit of both, I think that's kind of the best ingredients for a really good offense. And right now we're doing pretty good things, keeping the ball, running the ball is part of that equation. And so testament to those guys up front. QB runs the ball enough and scrambles enough to keep those guys honest. So there's a lot more variables than just, hey, offensive line, go block the people you're supposed to block. There's a lot more that goes into it.
Thanks,
Is that it?
Thank
Yep, absolutely. Thank you.
Appreciate